Hey, I'm Carlos Garcia, and today it's Friday. And, Elijah Craig and Hard Truth didn't get the memo of dressing up in green. So I put all the lights on green for them. So we're going over some ryes that I haven't, well, I'm sure I've tried some of these when I bought them, because some of these I got at either the Kentucky Bourbon Festival or Bourbon of the Banks, like the Monks Road. Well, for sure the old Louisville, but I'm not sure about the Hard Truth if I've ever actually had that. I have yet to have the new Elijah Craig batch proof or the Heaven Hill, what are these things called? Grain to glass. This is the LE Chinquapin finish one that they just came out with. I have had the Woodford rye. It's the only one that I know for sure I've had, at least I've had it recently, but I wanted to throw that in for sure into this lineup. Some of these are more small distilleries, craft. Some of these are sourcing, the old Louisville sourcing from MGP. So it does say it's distilled in Indiana, bottled in old Louisville, whiskey in Louisville, Kentucky, 8-year toasted batch Roadhouse. It's one of the higher proof ones. They're all around the same proof, except the Woodford is 125, which is kind of an outlier. The Hard Truth, double oaked. This is also from Indiana, but from their own distillery, Nashville, Indiana. Distilled and bottled by Hard Truth Distilling, Nashville, Indiana. And this is sweet mash rye finished in new charred oak barrels. So it's double oaked, just big letters. Batch size 16 barrels. All right, I'm pretty sure I've never had that. The Monks Road, I'm pretty sure I had. This is from Log Still Distillery out of Kentucky. I'm pretty sure I had this at one of the, if not both of the events over there. The Woodford, this is new. The Woodford Reserve Barrel Strength 125.1 LE right there on the bottle. Straight rye whiskey. So we'll see if Woodford Reserve can redeem themselves this year with the rye, which when I had it at the Whiskey Cigar Club last time, which just to let you know, this is my pre-game warm-up for my Whiskey Cigar Club today. So you guys will watch this Friday, but I'm recording this Thursday afternoon, and I have Whiskey Cigar Club in a couple hours. So this is my warm-up course, a 6-way rye blind. And the reason is I was going to record this video a couple days ago, but then when I was going around looking for things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 were all fresh cracks. And if you guys know, the other day when I put this together, I put them all in the 2-ounce samples for you guys for the sample giveaway. But give it a couple of days of air because I try not to do any fresh crack reviews on this channel. I pushed it back for you guys. So anyways, so this is Elijah Craig A925. This is the one that I got in Arizona that broke in shipping over here, but I was able to get it back, or another one I guess, in Indiana on my most recent trip. So we'll see how it does. Now a lot of people are saying that this is not as good as the bottle your own version that you can do at the distillery. At least when I was there last, you could do it. This is phenomenal, and from what I remember, this isn't as old as the 12-year age, 12 years, 3-month age statement on this, but this is 132 proof and this is 108 proof. So big proof difference, but I'm pretty sure there's a significant age difference as well. But that Y725 barrel was really good. And then we have this Heaven Hill grain to glass Chinquapin, 107 proof. So we'll see if the two Heaven Hills or Woodford can beat out some of the smaller brands or vice versa. And really, I'm putting this together to kind of see if any of these belong in discussion for Rye of the Year. We shall see. So before we get into the blind, let's do the giveaway. And this is the giveaway for the SOB collab video. And there's over 200 people in this. Remember guys, when there used to be like 30 people in these giveaways, and now we've cracked 200. So hopefully Corey Bosch, CORYBUSCH, is watching this. Email me, it's in the description. Congratulations. All right, so let's get into the nose on A. Pretty decent nose on A. It doesn't smell like a rye though. So, cherry, sweet, oak, slight banana note. Overall, a pretty good nose, solid. Again, I know that these are all ryes, but there's no way that I would guess that's a rye. I would think that's a bourbon for sure, based off those nosing notes, but we shall see how it tastes. Okay, B on the nose. Okay, B, you could tell is rye. Very bright, very intense compared to A, but then all those rye notes, the herbals, earthy, rye, minty, all those notes are very strong in the glass. I think I would guess that one's a rye. Let's go to C. Sometimes when I write these notes, I laugh at myself, okay? So this one's much lighter than the first two. You do get some rye notes, but it wasn't too much of anything. But I got some like fall leaves, like you remember as a kid, you jump in some leaves and a little wet, damp, little like that earthiness note, but specifically fall leaves. That's what came to my head. I don't know. Anyways, let's go to D. All right, so D on the nose, oak, sweet, definitely not as rye forward as B or even C, but it was musty and medicinal cherry. Not that musty nose wasn't the best for me. Let's go to E. Okay, so glass E, complex, pretty decent nose, bright, cherry, sweet, slight rye again, not very rye forward. The most rye forward so far is B. Herbal, starting a little bit more of that rye direction. Very savory, almost like that grilled tomato note that I get sometimes, but it wasn't quite that. But it was savory in that direction. I really wanted to write grilled tomato. So F, now there's a couple of crafty ones in here, so I guess I expected this nose. But crafty, youthful, savory. It was kind of savory in the direction of E, but the crafty, youthful notes were there on that one. All right. Let's get into the palates. All right, so A on the palate. I enjoy the palate a lot. Finish, not so much. So on the palate, vanilla, light, easy drinker. I was getting like this candy, like hard candy type note. Like not the chocolate candy bar type thing, but so Starburst, because it was multiple flavors, very sweet, very drinkable. When I got to the finish, however, it gave me that empty note that I get sometimes on finishes, which isn't my favorite. And it was also quick. Now, first sip of the day. Won't be my last sip of the day. So let's get into the second sip. All right. So I usually put my phone on silent during these videos so I don't get interrupted. So I'm waiting for FedEx to come here with a bottle that I know I have to sign for, so I don't want to miss it because I'm sitting right here by the door. So my friend just called me, so I'm like all lost in sauce over here. But pretty sure I haven't said oak, sweet, crushable for the palate. And the finish got really good. Well, it got much better than the first one, which the bar is very low, I understand. Sweet, vanilla, red fruit, a little smokiness. So overall, that second sip, pretty good. The one thing I'm not getting though is a lot of rye notes. There's a weird like little smoky thing on the finish. Overall, pretty good. It's overall a little thin. It's not very viscous in the mouth. The flavors are pretty good. It's not very rye forward, which, you know, for some people that don't like ryes, this could be a good one. I'm curious on what the price point is on this, because the price points on these six are all over the place, but pretty good. You know, I'd score everything blind without knowing the price of stuff, but, you know, after the fact, I like to know just to see if it's a good value or not. Pretty decent little rye we got in Glass A. So let's go to B. All right, that one is definitely more rye forward and a lot stronger notes. It was darker, oak, a unique note that I couldn't figure out. I don't think I've ever had that note. Don't understand what was happening in my mouth. Rye, darker fruit, vanilla, pretty good palate. I did enjoy it. On the finish, darker fruit, vanilla, rye, spice. The proof point seems to be much higher than A. It could also just be the rye spice because this one definitely drinks like a rye. But it is unique. I do like this one. Second sip. Yeah, B is good. Man, I do enjoy that. It's sweet, it's dark, it's bright, it's spicy. You can definitely tell it's a rye. The lingering notes, like a little spice on the palate. Comparatively, A is more of like you're dipping your toe into rye, and B is, I wouldn't say a full out rye, but you can definitely tell it's a rye, but it's tasty. I do like it. One more. Yeah, it's complex, man. I know I haven't said a lot of notes, but like the dark fruits, that's a few different notes in there. And when you're drinking it and even on the finish, the notes are like flying all over the place. Now, there was a couple like notes that like came and went that weren't the best, like in the dark fruits category, like a little bit of an astringent dark fruit, but then it got, you know, swept away with another note. I can see where some people can find some off-putting notes on this, but overall I did enjoy this a lot. And you know it's a rye. If you're a rye drinker and you want to make sure that the ryes you're drinking taste like ryes, B is more up your alley. Yeah, let's go to C. C definitely needs a second sip. It is super light. Light, sweet, peanut on the finish, peanut light. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's just not, like especially coming off of B where it's very intense, flavorful. It falls very short of that one. Try again. Okay, it's reminding me a lot of, little cinnamon. Let me write that down because I don't got much for C. So whatever notes I get, I gotta write down. So C reminds me a lot of A, where it's an easy, crushable drinker. I got some red fruits on the palate this time. The cinnamon note just now in the finish. But overall, it's very light. One more sip. Well, that's unfortunate. The palate was actually getting better. It got a little strawberry, vanilla. Again, the palate's very crushable. It's not very rye forward. On the finish, I got like an astringent oak note, which wasn't my favorite. So, okay. Let's go to D. D is definitely unique versus the first three. Wow. That was an experience. So oak, I put Texas funk with a question mark. I know none of these are from Texas, but it gave me that super fast aging. Maybe this is done in like a small barrel type situation. I'm not 100% sure, but it reminded me of like a Texas whiskey. Red Jolly Rancher, green apple, vanilla, orchard. The green apple is the closest thing to rye note I was getting, meaning it was green. Again, another one that I'm not getting much ryeness out of. On the finish, again, a Texas funk, green apple, a little smokiness, sweet. Overall, pretty good. It is very unique, and the flavors that punch out are intense. So let's see on second sip. Man, I could definitely see this one being very, divisive among people because of that Texas funk note. Because I know a lot of people don't really like Texas whiskey because of that funky note. I think this is crazy unique. So I didn't get anything new on the palate, but on the finish, very savory, purple Jolly Rancher appeared. Ooh, on the very linger here, it's like that malty, like a rye maltiness. I wouldn't say it's my favorite on the linger, but it is a different note. Third sip. Yeah, I can, I'm like thinking in my head, I'm kind of scoring them as I go just to have an idea. And like these two are similar and these two are just crazy unique. So I kind of have ideas of when I go back and forth, which pairs I'm going to right away. Definitely something out there, but in a good way. I think it's a good way. You want stuff that's different, and all these have been different. Go to E. Okay, so I took 2 sips of E because the first sip wasn't my favorite, so I just went to the second sip right away just to kind of see, and it wasn't my favorite. So youthful, crafty, grassy, toasty, a lot of E's at the end of stuff. The thing is, it's sweet overall. There's a lot of youthfulness with that sweetness. On the finish, crafty, youthful, sweet, more of the same. It's not my favorite. It tastes very young. Again, there's 3 craft ones in here and 3 legacy in here. That third sip was a little bit better. Some savoriness on the palate, red fruits on the finish. The finish is actually pretty decent. I do like the finish. The underlining crafty, youthful notes is what's kind of putting this down. Now, if this is under a $6 bottle, this is actually a pretty decent value. But if it's one of the more expensive bottles, I don't know. I think I was criticizing it too much too fast. It's decent. Probably still in last place, but it's not terrible. So let's go to F. All right, I don't know if they're just getting worse. So dark fruits, good viscosity. You get some rye notes, and then it's just an astringent note I did not like. On the finish, proofy, very musty. That musty close, moldiness. I know some people like that note. Not for me. Dark fruits, grape jam. So it's like all over the place. But first sip, it's on the palate this time. Grassy and cinnamon. So 2 very different notes. On the finish, the mustiness wasn't as intense, but it was the underlying note. I did get some good vanilla notes on there. If the musty note was kind of just a little bit, I would be like, oh, it's complex, but it's too strong. That's the problem. One more sip. The last sip wasn't too bad. Got a little more cinnamon note on the finish. That's something I definitely need to go back and forth with other things to kind of see. Some linger notes still not that good though. Do better. All right, so right now I'm gonna stop it here because probably this video is gonna be way too long as it is, and go back and forth, and try to figure out some kind of scoring here, and come back and let's do a giveaway. All right, and that took forever. Way longer than I wanted it to. So we definitely got some results here. So let's do a giveaway real quick. If you want to enter to win 2-ounce samples of all 6 of these ryes, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you can, hype the video. It's not a requirement because you can't do it on your TV and you can't do it on your computer, but you can do it on your phone. So if you're watching this on your phone, please hype the videos because apparently that does something. And comment with capital letters, RYE VS, like rye versus, we'll do with that. So RYE VS. Okay, let's get into these results. All right, so in last place is the old Louisville 8-year And, you know, I would check the prices before I did this, just kind of have an idea, because this is the one I'm pretty sure I said, if it's under 50 bucks, okay, but it's like $100 bottle. I wasn't the biggest fan of this. So then let's get into 5th place, which is the Woodford Reserve Rye, which this was Woodford Reserve's last chance to put out something good this year for me anyways. And I scored this a 3.1. I scored the old Louisville if I didn't say a 3. This Woodford Reserve Rye is 130 bucks, right around there. I did get a new note on the palate green apple, but it's okay. Woodford Reserve, man. Not a stellar year out of you. Okay, so then there was another pairing. It's basically 3 sets of pairs. So then it was these two. What did I put in 4th? I put the Log Still Monks Road Rye, and I scored a 3.3. Decent bottle, and I saw online for 45 bucks. So for $45, you know, it's 100 proof. It is a little thin, but the flavors are pretty good there. So that's a pretty decent value. I do enjoy this. It's good flavors. You know, it just beat out bottles like 3 times its, you know, double, almost 3 times its price. So good job on that. Okay, so then we go to 3rd place, which is the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Rye A925. I scored that 3.4. On the finish, I got some peanut butter and more rye notes. Okay, so then it came down to, and basically how that ended up happening was I ended up pairing, you know, one of the legacy ones versus the craft ones. Not because I wanted to do that, it was just kind of like how the tasting went through the first round. Anyways, so then we go to the Heaven Hill versus the Hard Truth, and the winner is the Hard Truth. Try to see if I wrote any new notes. Does not look like it. So the Hard Truth Double Oaked, which I can see it being very divisive, and please let me know in the comments if you've had this. And that scored a 3.8, and that looked to be around $75 online. The Heaven Hill Grand to Glass Rye Chinquapin is around $100 to $120, and I scored a 3.7. So the Hard Truth barely beat it, but it did beat it mainly because of complexity. But both of these are pretty good. I do enjoy both of them for what they are, but I can definitely see the Hard Truth being something people don't like. So please let me know if you had any of these, but specifically the Hard Truth, I'm curious on what you guys think about this Hard Truth Double Oak. So let me go get ready for a Whiskey Cigar Club now. Don't do nothing stupid. And if you do, don't get caught. Bye.